The evening sky was a painting of fading colors, the horizon bleeding with strokes of crimson, orange, and gold, as if the heavens themselves had spilled their emotions onto the canvas of the earth. And yet, beneath that breathtaking sunset, Maya felt an emptiness that no beauty could soothe. She stood on the old wooden bridge that crossed the narrow river just outside her town, the planks damp and glistening beneath her shoes, her fingers wrapped around the railing that was cold and slick with mist, her eyes fixed on the horizon not because she admired its beauty but because she was waiting, always waiting, for something she could not name, for someone she could not admit out loud, for a feeling that seemed always just beyond her grasp. The first drops of rain began to fall, soft at first, like whispers against her skin, and then heavier, drumming against the bridge and the water below, soaking her hair until it clung to her face, streaking her cheeks with trails that looked like tears though she had not yet cried. Still, she did not move, for the storm outside mirrored the storm in her chest, and the girl who appeared calm to the world was in truth unraveling inside, pulled apart by the longing she carried for the boy she had always known but never truly confessed to, the boy whose presence was her comfort and her torment. Behind her, footsteps approached, slow at first, then steady, and though the sound was nearly drowned by the rain, her heart recognized it instantly, beating harder as if her very soul knew who was coming before her mind dared to acknowledge it. She closed her eyes, feeling that familiar ache spread through her chest, and when she opened them, Aarav was already there, standing just a few steps behind her, his tall frame shadowed against the burning sky, his dark hair plastered to his forehead, his shirt already clinging to his body from the rain. He looked at her the way he always did, quietly, as if words were too fragile to carry the weight of what he felt, and for a moment neither of them spoke, the only sound between them the storm's growing voice, thunder rolling like a drumbeat of fate. Aarav walked closer, his boots thudding softly on the wooden planks, and when he reached the railing he stopped beside her, not touching, not speaking, just standing, as if the very act of being near her was a statement in itself. His hand, large and calloused from years of labor and work, brushed against hers on the railing, and the contact was small, almost accidental, but it was enough to set her heart racing, enough to send a jolt of electricity down her spine, and she wondered if he could feel it too, the invisible current that tied them together even as they both pretended otherwise. The silence stretched, filled with everything unspoken, until at last Aarav broke it, his voice low, rough, carrying the tremor of someone holding back too much for too long. "Maya," he said, her name alone sounding like a confession, "I can't keep pretending anymore. Every time I walk beside you, every time I hear you laugh, every time I see the rain touch your face, I feel like I'm going to lose myself if I don't tell you. I don't just want to be your friend, I want to be the one you reach for, the one you hold when the storms come." His words struck her harder than the rain, harder than the thunder, because they were the very words she had buried in her own chest for years, the truth she had carried silently, afraid to speak because friendship was safe but love was dangerous, love could break what nothing else could, and yet here he was, giving voice to what she had feared to say. Her breath caught, her lips trembled, and though she wanted to speak, no words came at first, only the flood of emotions that poured through her until finally, in a whisper barely louder than the rain, she answered, "I thought I was the only one." Aarav turned to her fully then, his eyes locking onto hers, dark and intense, filled with a longing that seemed to consume the storm around them, and in that gaze she saw every unspoken moment they had shared, the lingering looks, the brushed hands, the laughter that always carried something deeper beneath it, and she realized that she had always known, always felt it, but had been too afraid to step into the fire. Lightning split the sky, illuminating them in a burst of white light, and in that instant she reached for his hand, their fingers intertwining with desperate certainty, and the world around them dissolved into water and fire, rain and thunder, love and fear, but none of it mattered, because in that moment they were no longer hiding, no longer waiting, they were finally stepping into the truth they had both carried in silence for so